Jujutsu Kaisen is a world filled with sorcerers, non-sorcerers, and cursed spirits. Cursed spirits are essentially the boogeyman that your kids are afraid of in the closet at night. Except these monsters can either be horrific aberrations or prolific serial killers with deep internal thoughts and philosophical ideas on what it means to be conscious. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be explaining the entire Jujutsu Kaisen power system. That's right, cursed energy, cursed techniques, domains, barriers, all. And you all should hit that subscribe button before my brain explodes. Cursed energy is the basis of the JJK power system. Think of it like gasoline. We produce it from fear, anger, and other negative emotions that we experience as we go through our lives. Hence the name cursed energy. When enough of it pools together though, it gives birth to a cursed spirit. This happens because regular humans always have this stuff seeping out of us like BO, and we can't control it, nor are we aware of it. And since humans can't control the amount of cursed energy that they're expelling, it leads to the constant birth of cursed spirit. And cursed spirits like to prey on humans, and the worst part is that they're invisible. Yeah, regular people can't see them. But don't worry, because humans aren't completely screwed. Luckily, some humans are born with the ability to control and manipulate their cursed energy. These people are called Jujutsu sorcerers, and they are severely understaffed. Sorcerers have the ability to control their cursed energy and utilize it to fight using their cursed techniques. A cursed technique, according to Gojo, is something that is etched into your soul from the moment that you're born, so it cannot be learned, only trained and improved upon. And it can quite literally be anything. Construction, speech, teleportation, control over all space, you get what I'm saying. But not all cursed techniques are alike, and the same goes for sorcerers. The amount of cursed energy a person has is very important for how their cursed technique works, because some cursed techniques can take up an enormous amount of cursed energy that the user sometimes does not have. Therefore, it can limit the way they can use their cursed technique or the amount of times they can use it. Take May for example. Her cursed technique, construction, allows her to create physical objects in the real world out of cursed energy that don't fade away after a certain amount of time. The drawback is that it requires an enormous amount of cursed energy, so she's limited to 1 bullet a day. She don't got it like that. We have Todo's Boogie Woogie that makes him an absolute menace, because Todo has great cursed energy control and he has mastered his technique, and I mean, it literally allows him to change places in space as he wants. Any object, including himself, which is pretty fire if you think about it. Sorcerers are the ones who are sent to deal with cursed spirits when they are attacking, so you have to assign them to missions that meets their ability, otherwise, you'll have no more stuff. This is why we have the sorcerer ranking system. They rank sorcerers from grade 4, which is the lowest, all the way up to special grade, which is the highest, and what Gojo sensei. Remember earlier when I said some cursed spirits are prolific serial killers that have deep thoughts? Yeah, cursed spirits are also ranked on this system, and they also possess cursed techniques. And even though Gojo sensei is a special grade himself, I'm gonna focus on Mahito since he's the exception to every single rule on this list. Mahito is an 8-month-old special grade curse that has a higher body count than Jeffrey Dahmer. His innate technique, Idol Transfiguration, allows him to manipulate his soul and others. Now, why this is so deadly in Jujutsu Kaisen is because the body and the soul are inexplicably linked. So what happens to the body happens to the soul and vice versa. This allows Mahito to literally just kill people by touching them, because upon contact he mutates their soul, which then mutates their body, and that allows Mahito to do whatever he wants with them. He can turn them into weapons, he can turn them into horrific beasts, literally anything he pleases. This is also why Mahito is immune to physical damage, because you have to hurt his soul in order to do him any damage in the first place, which also gives him the ability to shapeshift, which I think that's just enough. All of these abilities are applications of a single technique, the ability to manipulate souls. That is why your potential as a sorcerer is 80% from your genetics, because like I said earlier, you're born with your cursed tech, you can't change it or learn a new one, only improve upon your own. So if you get a crappy one, that's it. But cursed technique isn't everything, like I said before. You also need the correct mentality, like the case with Megumi, in order to become stronger. You see, the desire to become better than you are now and the ability to envision a version of yourself that can surpass your current limits is very important for a sorcerer. They basically need to have main character syndrome. The stronger you get is the better your cursed technique gets, and the better your understanding of cursed energy becomes, which then will bring you to the pinnacle of Jujutsu, domain expansions. Domain expansions were once regarded as the pinnacle of Jujutsu, and honestly it's a wild concept. Hear me out. They basically spawn a boxing ring from their soul where They have paid off the refs, they have a gun, and you can't escape. It's not actually a boxing ring, but it's the manifestation of their innate tech. See, domains are basically barriers. And we've all seen barriers, you know, they do the little incantation, emerge from darker than darkness, black, whatever, I don't know. And boom, they have a spherical barrier that appears. And these barriers are usually for simple reasons, you know, keeping some people out or some persons in. A really strong sorcerer could add binding vows to make his barrier even stronger. Binding vows are simply just pacts infused with cursed energy. Make it simple, let's say you want to make a barrier that no one can escape from. To make it strong, you'd add a binding vow saying that no one can also enter into the barrier. This equivalent exchange along with your strength as a sorcerer would help you to create a better barrier. But remember what I said, at the end of the day, cursed energy is everything. So even if you do add enough binding vows, it doesn't matter if the total cursed energy that you can pour into your barrier isn't that strong. Because then someone who is stronger would essentially just pull up and be able to destroy your barrier. But that is what a domain is. It's a barrier that entraps the opponents inwards and does not let anyone escape outward. And the manifestation of their innate technique activating within that barrier. That's why Mahito's domain literally had Nanami standing in the palm of his hand, because Mahito's domain is dependent on touch to work. When an opponent initiates a domain, the best move is usually to launch your own domain, and the more refined one would win. It's a difficult technique to master because you have to know the specific dimensions of your domain. Remember, you're creating a physical space. This is why Megumi relies on enclosed structures for his domains, because it's easier to just paint it onto an already existing structure. We've only been talking about one type of domain so far, so spoilers for the manga for the rest of explanation. Domains used to be far more common in the world of JJK. These were a different type of domains though. Instead of a sure hit effect for the user's innate techniques, domains would simply subject the opponent to specific rules and conditions to tip the battle in the favor of the cast. Examples of this would be Hakari's domain and Higuruma's domain. These domains don't kill their opponent, they do make it extremely difficult for the other party. With Hakari's domain, Idle Death Gamble granting him immortality for 4 minutes if he hits a jackpot, and Higuruma's domain giving him a weapon that can kill anyone in one slice if Judgment rules it necessary. These domains used to be much more common, but sorcerers lean more towards the lethality of the sure hit effect, which is why domains became more rare in today's standards of Jujutsu. Of course, it's much more than what I said earlier. It's just the most basic outline of the power system. Because of course, we have Sukuna's domain has no barrier, which is actually a binding vow that makes it stronger because he leaves the option for someone to escape. And we have cursed energy with special traits like Hakari's coarse cursed energy that feels rough, or Hashimoto's electricity like cursed energy, which are both innate traits. And we have one of my favorite occurrences, which is a heavenly restriction. Normally, a heavenly restriction would take one of your limbs or piece of your body, crippling you, but giving you an enormous amount of power with Jujutsu sorcery. But in the Zenin clan, there's a special occurrence where people are sometimes born with zero cursed energy. This is different from non-sorcerers who just have a tiny bit of cursed energy and they can't control it. No, I mean zero cursed energy. Maki and Toji both escaped the curse of cursed energy itself and instead were granted extreme physical prowess, making both of them two of the most lethal people to ever exist within the series. Fully realized, Maki was able to keep up with Naoya, who had inherited Naobito's technique and therefore was the fastest sorcerer of the time, excluding Satoru Gojo. But then he became a cursed spirit and got even faster, going up to speeds of about Mach 2, I believe, and Maki was just catching up to bro easily, like it was nothing. People like this are also impossible to track because as they have no cursed energy, domains can't detect them as a living person, and neither can barriers. And I just thought this was one of the interesting phenomena in the power system that I had to mention. But let me know what you guys think of this video in the comments. Let me know if I left anything out, and definitely like and subscribe for more. Until next time, see you guys.